guys. Sorry, I don't see anything. All right, how we doing today? Good. Good, good, good. I can't hear anybody, so somebody has to come off of mute and make this less awkward for me. What do you say?
You're
All right.
wonderful.
There we go. We just
Doing
needed one.
great.
All right. That's exactly what we needed. Some emojis, some sound. Guys, this is very fun, very upbeat, very fast-paced program. So let's have some fun, right? Who's ready for that? Yeah? All right. So everything will be sent to you at the end. So do not worry. You can use the chat to ask questions. I cannot see it, but somebody I'm sure will tell me that you've asked them a question. So, all right, we like that. All right, we ready? Let's do some thumbs up if we're ready to hit it. There we go. I like it. Thank you, James. Oh, that's exactly what we want to see, folks. All right. So, Openclaw. We're here to talk Openclaw. Who is ready? Everybody? Anyone playing around with Openclaw? Let's do hit a one in the chat if you are playing around with Openclaw. Anyone? Nobody? I know that's a lie. I'm just shy. But okay, we'll let it go. So how do we start with Openclaw? Very easy. Now again, we're going to go fast. You're going to get a recording. So how do you start with Openclaw? All right, go to myclaw.ai very easily. You're going to start to use their API. From there, you're going to sign in. You got to pay. You got to pay for everything these days. And you want to use a new Gmail account. You absolutely do not want to be using your work email, which we'll touch upon in a second. And then from there, voila, you start to begin and build your claw. So let us show you how we built our claw called the Professor. The Professor, the first questions they're going to ask you is a series of who are you? Who am I? What should I call you? What are you going to name me? What's my vibe? What should I be feeling? And you can see along here on the video, we're showing you kind of real life examples of what that looks like. Things like, what are you working on? What matters to you? You're building their personality and their goals. So Kristen, who, if you know, you know, is the most amazing marketing mind in this industry. So Kristen gave us an example. Who are you? Well, I'm KJ, the marketing director here at lawyer.com, and I'm going to be a professor. She would like her agent that she's built. She wants to know a lot of things, but explain it easy. She doesn't want you to sugarcoat it, give her the facts, and she likes some humor, right? She's telling the agent exactly what she wants. She wants you to focus on educating her in business and legal and marketing, right? I think we could all benefit from this agent, absolutely. And lastly, what do you want me to do? This is the most important part. So Kristen has built an agent, this agent particularly, where at 8 o'clock every morning, she gets a debrief on AI legal news, maybe some AI tools, maybe a joke here or there. And what she showed us is this morning, here's a snippet from her professor brief. So, oil spikes highest since 2022, right? So this is everything that she has added into her agent. Every day, this is what she gets. So she's on top of everything. Interesting, right? In the tool spotlight, this is today, folks, open source Harvey, right? Well, we all know Harvey is the giant handling big and medium sized law. So what does that even mean? So from this brief, we then said, okay, we got to figure out what Harvey's doing so we know what's next. You need a word of the day. I feel like this word defines who I am. Someone who gives opinions or advice far beyond their knowledge. Like what I'm doing right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am not a tech expert. I just have a passion for what we're building here, and I want to share that. So again, this is the agent that Kristen built. This is her professor brief. Pretty cool, right? So how does she even do this, right? That's the most important part. So she's integrating it with Slack. Now, be mindful, there's a cool video here. She's got to sign into Slack. She's got to create the app, get a bot token, she's got to configure it all, copy the JSON, set bot permissions, add scopes. I'm telling you guys, I am like, huh, what is going on? Right? And I think the average person probably would be, but This is cutting edge technology, and we've got to figure out how to use it. So as you can see, this is quite the setup that she has. Everyone still with me? Okay, because I will tell you for the last 3 weeks, I have been trying to figure out Openclaw, and it's not easy. As I said, I am not a tech person, right? I'm a business person that enjoys technology. So when I see prompts like, I need to have vector indexing, I need input output balancing, I don't know what any of this means. I'm like, what? Am I alone in this at all? Put a one if, like, help me out here. Am I alone in this game or what? Okay, we got a shy chat group today, but that's okay. So let's talk story time. We like story time. So about 3 weeks ago, Openclaw, which was, as we talked about last month, the hottest tool out there. Well, you know what? Gone. Hermes is the next best one. Not Hermes, like the bag and the brand, which is what I want to call it. It's not. Then Hermes comes along and it blows up like nothing. And what's interesting is that Kristen and I sat down yesterday to go through the presentation where we had demos of Openclaw, of Hermes agents, right? And you know what we found out? Well, you could do all of this in ChatGPT. So it's funny. I was on a podcast yesterday and the woman was talking about how she's writing an AI book. And it's very difficult to write an AI book right now because every day it's changing. How are you going to write something by the time it's published? It's all done. From the moment we started working on this presentation last week until yesterday, we had to scrap and change everything because we have something even better to showcase with you guys right now. Welcome to Agents That Matter to You this week, and more importantly, that you can use yourself. And that's the most. So today, instead of talking about Openclaw and Hermes agents, we're going to be talking about our friends Claude Cowork and ChatGPT agents, which I think everybody will feel very comfortable with because these are large language models that we've been using for 3 or 4 years now. We don't have to worry about tech jargon, no crazy setups, no integrations to Slack and copy and JSON files. This is great for somebody like me and somebody like you for law firms. So let's dive in and talk about what does this even mean. We're going to start with Claude Cowork and then we'll go into ChatGPT agents. Do I still have everyone with me? Chris Rose, are you still there? I hope so, because I know I'm going to, yes, all right.
Yeah, of course I'm here. I wouldn't
All
be one.
right. I love it. All right. Because I saw Chris Rose last week and we deep dive conversations into AI. Chris is a phenomenal lawyer that's using this to grow his brand, his business. This is what we all need to be using. So let's start talking about Claude Cowork. So step one, and you guys are going to all get a copy of this. Download Claude, sign and pay for Pro. If you are not paying for any of these LLMs, open your wallet and pay. You need to be paying. You'll run out of tokens otherwise. And then click Claude Cowork. So from here, we're going to start talking about some examples. So what does this Claude Cowork agent even do? Well, I said, hey, write us a one-page brief on our PowerPoint that we did last week, right? So this is what it looks like. How to integrate with PowerPoint. That's the most important thing. So you have to allow permission. So you go into Claude Cowork and you click add in, you search for Claude, voila, that's it. Remember the screen from a couple slides ago that showed you all of those 8 steps you had to take? That's all gone now, right? It's just click, click, done. And that's what's valuable. So this was our presentation that we did last month. So what is Openclaw? So I had asked the agent, hey, please write a one-page brief for attendees. You can see real time how this is working. And if I don't know if you caught that on the last slide, it actually had an alignment error, right? I guess we're going to show that real quick. So you can see the alignment error. Well, you'll see it in the recap. How about that? But what I'm trying to showcase is that it said, hey, this doesn't look right. Let's fix it, right? The human eye doesn't have to do that work anymore. You're watching this happen real time. There you go. See how it's done, fixed, walk away, right? Go work on what's more important. So this is just one small example. Example number two. I don't know if anyone else in the room has the same issue I have, where my calendar, some may fondly say, is a dumpster fire. But it is. So I need help. So exercise two was, hey, Claude, can you analyze my calendar, figure out what the heck is going on, and help me with it? So I said, help me with my Google Calendar. Look at this. It made me that dashboard. I didn't ask for that. They just created it for me. How amazing is that? Right? Saying I have 44 meetings. I have an average of 4 meetings a day. Then what's interesting is it starts to tell me how I can improve my calendar. Number one, it says, hey, listen, you need to block in focus time. All the books that you read tell you to do this. I don't do any of it, but I probably should. So without me having to do absolutely anything, my Claude Cowork agent for booking has now gone in and added focus time so that I can actually do my work instead of chit-chatting on meetings. Pretty amazing. And I did nothing, right? All I did was put in the prompt and give access. So what else can Claude Cowork do for me? Great question. It could audit visibility, right? Go in and act like a law firm strategist. It will be shocking when you go and Google yourselves. These are things we've been saying for 10, 12 years, right? Understand your online presence. Funny enough, it hasn't changed since 10, 15 years ago. Your online presence is actually more important now than ever. And how often are you Googling yourself? How often are you managing what's coming up on search? I don't have time to do that, but I could create an agent very easily that could audit my visibility. And even a step further, I want to know what my competition's doing. I don't like to lose. I want to know what they're doing so then I can go build an agent to do it better. And who doesn't want more leads? What we're all here for, right? So, hey, go in and act like a law firm conversion expert. Help me convert my leads, right? These are just small examples that after we meet right now, after this session's over, you could go in and do it yourself. I did this, right? I am not the technical person, but ChatGPT and Claude have now made it very easy for business people to enter this space. So, are we having fun? Am I talking too fast? Good. Okay. Love this. So, up next, like I said, yesterday, we sat down, had a completely different presentation because of the ChatGPT agents. So, how do you start using ChatGPT agents? I actually had to Google it, but don't tell ChatGPT that because I couldn't find where it was within ChatGPT, right? Yeah, exactly. So, Get Business, ChatGPT, and Codex. Are you all getting the paid subscription? If the answer is not yes, the minute this session ends, go and buy either Chat or Claude. Up next, the sidebar. This is where I struggle to find it. There's a little button in the toolbar called Agents. Brand new, launched last week. Now you have to remember, who did OpenAI? This is a what's it called? A game we're gonna play. $100 gift card to the person who answers in chat first and correctly. We talked about this last month. Are we ready? Everyone's hands are on the keyboard. Who/what did ChatGPT buy? Who/what did ChatGPT buy? $100. Let's see. Am I? Any other guesses? All right. So the gentleman who, I like that, Frank. The gentleman, exactly, Chris Rose. The gentleman who created Openclaw. Remember Moltbot, then Openclaw? Well, OpenAI was looking around and said, that Openclaw is pretty damn cool. We need that. That was like months ago. And now here they are with agents inside. So one could argue that Openclaw just went into ChatGPT, and that's that. So very easy for you to do this. So let's get into some examples. Now, what's a little different about agents in ChatGPT and kind of fun is they have their templates already preset. So you could have a chief of staff, a sales assistant. You could see in this image below, and this is as of today, right? My guess, if you search tonight or tomorrow, you're going to have way more templates. The more use, the more output that we'll see on here. But the thing is, it's easy to use. So remember when we talked about skills? Yes, good. With Openclaw, you need to install skills one by one by one, right? Not easy. With ChatGPT, it's all there. You don't have to do anything anymore. This is why this is a great tool for business people like ourselves. Okay, remember we talked about integrations? We needed the JSON files to Slack integrate to blah, 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 blah. Done. 2 clicks and you're live. It's that easy. Click, click, go. So let's talk about some examples. Now, these are a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun with this. We've been experimenting with all sorts of agents, but this is specific to ChatGPT agents that was built last night and today. So, number one, think of it as a real marketing assistant. I personally never know what the right exact questions are to ask, but here you go. What company or brand is this for, right? So you're able to give very almost generic comments, and the agent's going to come back to you asking for more input. They know what questions to ask you so that they're pulling out from you exactly what you want, right? So in this case, we're looking at target audience, brand, messaging, and key competitors. So that's our goal, our objective. Here we go. Let's gain followers on our Instagram. Followers are a currency right now in every single industry. So let's use an agent to help us get more followers. The audience, lawyers and business owners. The offer, none. The channels, Instagram, right? I'm not having to give detailed messaging and directions and prompts, timeline. Okay, give me 3 months. I am going to say I want 100 plus followers, right? You see the little amount of detail? This is great. It's not a lot of time. It's not a lot of resource. So this is the information we gave the agent. And within 10 minutes and only 3 edits, this is what we got. It gave us 36 reels, shot by shot, with the captions for Instagram, why it was important. And my personal favorite, our new creative rule of thumb. I love this. If your visual looks like it came from generic brand, kill it. I hate stock images. I see them everywhere. When I see a stock image as a consumer, I keep scrolling, right? I want to make sure my agent understands absolutely nothing generic, right? We're out. It needs to feel native, needs to feel sharp. It needs to feel like I built it because I did through my agent, you know. All right, up next, here is an example. That was the template driven, right? This is a non-template. So this is something that we made custom. So let's have a law firm marketing prep. We all have tons of meetings every day. I walk into meetings and I very rarely know what's going on. And I wish I had kind of like a 1 page that's saying, hey, this is what this meeting is going to be about. But that takes time. That takes somebody's effort, right? Good content is hard to produce. So can we make an agent that does that? Let's try it out. So very easy. You browse through your sidebar, top corner. You're going to create your own agent. Click, click, begin, right? We're back to that click, click, go. So here we are building a brand new agent. What are our pain points? My pain point, meeting prep organization, right? I talked about that. So this is what we created. Here they be, the law firm marketing prep assistant. It helps us prep for internal meetings. So we had to integrate some apps. So add your app, connect it with your Gmail, your calendar. Now, again, I think there will always be the question, do you want to give full access to your Gmail? That's going to be your decision. I give full access, I feel like, to everything these days. Maybe not so much Openclaw, but I feel a little bit safer in ChatGPT. So I'm saying, hey, have access, let's go. And just like this, it will go through my calendar to see what are the meetings I have, right? It's going to ask the right questions. And here we go. In 3 minutes and 37 seconds, which we would have paid somebody probably an hour to put together, we have a full prep document for our meeting. This happens to be about our Lawyer Growth Summit. And it's a meeting we have once a week. It's very important because we're getting ready for a big conference, right? I want to make sure what's happening. What are we discussing? What are the open questions, right? Because we have these giant meetings that are kind of hard to get your head around. But in 3 minutes, I now have a perfect summary so I could be the most effective I can when we get into that meeting. So what else can ChatGPT agents do for me? Very similar to Openclaw, right? We're on the same playing level here, but let's take a look. Education agents, right? Love that. We always want to be learning. So you can take your internal processes and make a training agent. I know something I'm not very good at is training, but if I could make an agent that trains in the individuals, fantastic, right? Here's a training guide agent. Billing clarity agent. I feel like we all need this, right? We all have struggles when it comes to building and double entries and just it's chaotic at times, right? Build an agent. So what do you do next, right? We're very fast through these programs because we're letting you think about it. The most important thing for us is to educate you, but you've got to take that next step, right? So what do you next? On Friday here at lawyer.com, we call it Claw Day, although, I hate to say we're over Claw, but we're evolving as the days go. But adopt a day, adopt an afternoon where you fully focus on working on agents, or you have somebody in your organization focusing on it, right? And I always like to say, you want to start with something that's interesting to you or to a big pain point that you want to solve because you'll be more invested in working through it. So for us on Fridays, we don't do any work except building agents. And we've been doing this for about 3 months now. Then on Monday, we get the whole organization on the phone and we pitch. We say, hey, this is what we built. This is what we built, right? And it allows us to brainstorm. And from a product perspective, it allows us to create new products. So what's really exciting is out of our Claw Day, we created a really cool product that I'm about to show you guys. And what this means is you can do the same thing in your law firm. If you take time to say, I'm going to fix a problem and I'm going to make it a better experience for myself, for my team, or my clients. And that's exactly what we did. So without further ado, check out what our team did on Claw Day.
This is Daniel. How can I help you today? I'm really sorry that happened. Getting hit that hard while you're just sitting at a red light is a lot. I'm glad you're mostly okay. 400 collective years of experience. You're definitely in good hands. Attorneys only get paid if they win your case. Zero financial risk on your end. It really takes that burden off your plate. I'm going to send you a quick letter of intent by text. It just confirms that you want our attorneys to review your case. Perfect. I just sent that over to you now. Go ahead and tap the link whenever you're ready. You're very welcome. I'm sorry again you're dealing with all of this.
So that product and that amazing video came out of Claude. We had agents build that intake process, right? That is what's possible out there right now, guys. And with that said, I'll open it up to a few questions if we have questions, but you have to get out there and play around. Now that it's in ChatGPT and Claude, it is so much easier to use. If you have questions or comments, I'll stick around. Kristen will send everybody the presentation. In 2 to 3 weeks, we are back. The whole world is going to change by then. Everything that I'm saying right now will be out of date, and you'll be like, how did she even say that? That's crazy. So if there's anything you want to learn, please let us know. We're happy to do that. But thank you guys so much for coming. And if you stick around, if you have any questions. Thanks, guys.